Welcome back to Grief Support That Works, where we work to empower you to navigate your journey with grief through compassion and understanding. And today we're diving into a topic that affects many individuals on their grief path, returning to work. I'm Jo McRogers. I'm a therapist dedicated to doing grief differently. Grief needs a revolution, so please join the Grievolution. For those experiencing grief, returning to the workplace can present a whole range of challenges. It is a topic of discussion in my therapy appointments. It calls for planning, and it is often fear-filled. I've spent countless hours supporting clients with this common grief challenge of returning to work. One of the most prevalent fears relates to the ability to perform the tasks of our job. Statistics show that approximately 85% of bereaved individuals return to work within 1 month of their loss. That is a very quick turnaround time. However, the emotional toll of grief can significantly impact our ability to be able to perform effectively in our workplace. Forgetting where you've put things, walking into the room and forgetting why you went there, ineffectively multitasking as our minds race in fractured ways while we're grieving, or not being able to manufacture any energy to even think in a linear way. One of the most common challenges faced by grievers returning to work is the difficulty in concentration and focus. Grief is greedy and it can consume one's thoughts. This makes it hard to focus on our tasks and our responsibilities. Please let us know in the comments, what were your grief symptoms that most challenged you in a performance or an intellectual way when considering your return to work? Studies suggest that nearly 60% of grieving employees experience decreased productivity due to difficulties concentrating. This in turn can lead to decreased self-esteem. It can lead to an increased fear about our job performance or our job security, all while still carrying the emotional toll of grief. The second consideration is all about the social and emotional impact of being back in the workplace. As grievers, we work hard to try to control our grief in public spaces. And sometimes the only place where we feel safe with our grief is behind our closed door at our house. So the idea of navigating in a not so private workplace can be nearly immobilizing. Again, statistics say that 45% of grieving employees report feeling emotionally overwhelmed while at work. As a culture, we are largely uncomfortable with grief. And as grievers return to the workplace, we are often met with well-intentioned condolences from our co-workers. And while these gestures come from a place of compassion, navigating them can be challenging, especially while in the workplace. When it is time to return to work, many of my clients, and I remember feeling this way, just wanted to slide in the back door, do my job, and get the heck out. We wanted nothing to do with condolences or the head tilt of "how are you doing? This must be so hard for you" statements. Many grievers want the structure of returning to work to have a work day to help organize them into a sense of normalcy. We want it to serve as a break from our grief, so our needing to navigate condolences in the workplace disrupt that plan. And yet, at the same time, we can feel so uncared for, so unseen, if in fact our grief isn't acknowledged in the workplace. Receiving condolences in the workplace can also evoke a whole range of emotions for us when we are grieving, from gratitude to discomfort. It truly is a lose-lose proposition. Grief will teach us that we have no power or control. So I want to remind you all that it is important to seek actual places of power or influence that we truly can utilize. So in some work situations, grievers should feel empowered to set boundaries about discussing their grief at the work site. Some grievers go to the workplace early just to get it over with. And then when they go into work, they feel like the Band-Aid has been ripped off and they can just get to the work, having navigated that social gauntlet yet. I always encourage grievers to consider some proactive communication with their coworkers as well, to let them know about how you prefer in the workplace to receive support or not. Can the griever ask their manager or choose a close colleague to send a carefully worded notice to all of their colleagues expressing their wishes, whatever they might be? It could be to please not offer condolences at work, or to know that tears and breaks may happen often, and that if I wish support, I will seek it out. It is all so personal and situation specific. Tell us in the comments, what did you encounter upon your return to work? Let us know how we can explore how individual this is and yet how common the return to workplace emotionality is. Personally, I remember returning to work after a deep loss, and I used a ton of my accumulated overtime while sitting vigil. And I resent still to this day being questioned about the legitimacy of using those hours upon my return to work. As a therapist, I always feel guilty asking the griever to do more work. But the truth is that you setting the tone about your work return also addresses your colleagues' discomfort. Now, don't get me wrong, their discomfort is not yours to fix. However, it might just help you return to work with less stress of the unknown. The how will this feel? Will I be overwhelmed emotionally? This is going to be a shite show. Will this be a free fail? These attempts to support your return are not foolproof. As we all know, there is always that one colleague who will insert themselves into everyone's business. So, also, please have some pre-rehearsed phrases that are authentic and redirect. I appreciate your concern and I would like to focus on work today. These are just my words. Please find your own words that feel true and support your choice around how to navigate your grief. And one last thought that I have to offer, and again, I'm asking even more work of the griever. Setting the tone for acknowledging grief in the workplace, grievers can create a supportive environment where open communication and empathy is possible. And future grievers might just benefit from your efforts. So if you are able to accomplish this at any point in your work environment, I thank you for being a grief advocate. Bereavement leaves that are cruel and uncaring imply that grief has no place in our work environments, and these policies need to be challenged and changed. Studies show that companies with flexible return to work policies experience higher levels of employee satisfaction and productivity, particularly among grieving employees. Remember, the statistic says that approximately 85% of bereaved individuals return to work within 1 month of their loss. These are short, unrealistic turnaround times. So please tell me, what have I missed? What can you add? Please leave your suggestions below so that we can all learn together. And as you navigate workplace grief, I send you kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart. Thank you. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.